All right, all right. So when it comes to AI, I know a lot of people, the big thing with AI, right? We learn to use it, right? We got to learn it, then use it, and then we got to monetize from it. That's the big thing where a lot of people kind of miss that connection, right? That bridge in order to make some really cool money off of what's happening with AI, right? So there's a whole system in place that needs to happen for you to get to that next level. So what I'm trying to do here is, especially in the AI skill lab, right? We're not going to just get stuck at this one where we're learning information, but what I like to do is for us to take that information, use it inside of our business, and then be able to go ahead and monetize off that as well. So that's the ultimate goal here. So we don't feel stuck when it comes to AI. I know the big push of that with not just me, but with a lot of people. So I know like Alicia and them, she's talked about how to earn from AI. She's been doing that push recently a lot. And it's the same type of thing that, I've been trying to focus on as well. But there's a lot of people out there that has those skills already and have been successful with AI. And I like to, I like to make sure to highlight those type of people. And there's one person in particular, Mr. Nate Sky here. He has already proven his successfulness, not in just AI, just in general with life. So today we're going to go ahead and bring him on, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I'm going to talk a little bit about his bio, but he's going to talk about how he uses AI on a daily and be able to take that information and really not just help himself, but help other people make money with AI, find the way that they can really create generational wealth using AI as well. He's got such a great backstory, guys. He's at 19, he was actually an enlisted soldier in Operation Desert Storm, right? So he graduated from West Point. He was a financial officer. He wrote a book called Life is Rich. He'll definitely give you guys a link for that. How to create lasting wealth. And today he's a certified consultant. He's an executive advisor, and he's a keynote speaker, right? So just like the name of his book, he runs that company, Life is Rich Global. He helps leaders and he helps entrepreneurs make better decisions, lead with trust, and really bring AI into the business the right way. So not just with hype, not just with fear, but with real strategy. He is faith anchored. He is AI enabled. He is legacy driven, and that's really who he is. And that's why I really want to bring him up tonight. So, please welcome on here, Mr. Nate Scott. How you doing, Nate?
Doing well, Kev. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Do me a huge favor. Let me go ahead and pin myself. All
Hmm.
right. I got it. Got it.
Perfect.
Well, hello, beautiful people. My name is Nate Scott. I'm the author of the book Life is Rich: How to Create Lasting Wealth, which is a principle centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. I wrote it specifically to address the cash flow danger that no one is talking about. The fact that 77 million baby boomers are retiring and facing a cash flow danger, that 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000 of retirement, that 47% of people say if they had a $400 emergency, they'd have to sell something or borrow money to address it, and 68% of people living paycheck to paycheck. But it's about how to think versus what to think. How to think versus what to think. Every chapter begins with scripture, but then I say, so what? How do you take God's word and apply it on a daily basis? I cover leadership as the answer, the cash flow danger. It happened to me, becoming an entrepreneur, choosing the right entity, raising capital, asset protection, protection of financial privacy, reducing your taxes, retirement planning, residual income retirement planning, estate planning, and life is rich. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an inspirational teacher. And so my ask of each one of you tonight is that you play full out. I want to ask that you be intentional with your time. And that's extremely important to me because at 19, when I enlisted in the Army, I found myself serving in combat. And as I walked the perimeter during Operation Desert Storm, I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. You see, we all have the same 1,440 minutes per day. And when you subtract out the time for working, for sleeping, for commuting, and the time it takes you to do what you have to do each and every day of your life, most people are left with just 1 to 2 hours remaining to do what they really want to do. Then the question is, do they have the money to do it? And so I want to frame it from that vantage point because I'm intentional about my time. And I'm going to encourage you on this night to put away any distractions and let's be intentional for the time in which you have here. I want you to engage with me. I want you to ask me questions. I want you to really leave here with some real answers because I made a decision to really delve into the AI space after much thought. You see, I did my undergrad at West Point, engineering and sociology, computer science engineering and sociology. I did my MBA at George Washington University, financial planning at Georgetown. But my life was changed the week I graduated from West Point when I got introduced to personal growth and development and entrepreneurship via network marketing. Now, that was the week I graduated from West Point, and I walked into this room full of happy people. Was not drawn into an opportunity. What was amazing to me was that I never knew about picking up books and going to seminars and being around successful people. And so as I've spoken around the world, I tell people, take on my West Point degree, take on my MBA, take on my financial planning. When I learned to pick up books and go to seminars, be around successful people, that's to lay the foundation for everything else I've done in my life. That's what has you guys here because you guys are participating in the learning of your own accord. That's what happened to me in 96. And it really changed everything for me. In fact, I told my brother today that it was that introduced to the world of personal growth and development that taught me how to read the Bible as a practical manual. And so I want you to understand that that's the backdrop. And several of you might have a similar background. Maybe you have a military background, or maybe you have a college degree. Maybe you have worked in the corporate world. Whatever it is that you have, I can tell you that through my experience, and I hope that you're discovering it for yourself, that you are the asset. That's one of the 4 pillars of my book. Number 1 is you are the asset. Number 2 is alignment before assignment. Number 3 is how to think versus what to think. And number 4 is life is rich. Life is rich means live in fullness every day. Realize I'm Christ's heir. Think about that. I don't know what your faith is because my book isn't a religious book. It's just me telling you the backstory of my foundation. But if you happen to be someone that touches and agrees with me from a faith standpoint, then if you are a Christ follower, then I'm just going to really dial in for you because I want you to know that if that is fact what you believe, then we've got to make sure that we walk this thing out. Live in fullness every day because you realize you're Christ's heir. And as an heir, that means your father has it all. And if your father has it all, then that means it's already set aside for you. And so no matter what season of life you're in right now, if you find yourself in a transition, because of what I've discovered through my time within the AI community is that people are here in a transitional state. It's like this here is the thing that people are looking at as going to allow them to close the gap. That it's the thing that's going to allow them to change their life. And I want you to first go into it with the knowing that you are the asset. I want you to have hope in the unseen. I want you to have belief in your capacity so that then you can then take action. Because I've seen too many people not take action. I decided in October that I was going to pause for a moment to kind of delve into the AI space to see really what was going on. Because I dabbled with it for about 2 years, but I had not even used Chat GPT. I just found whatever the lowest price something, and I just started using it and maximized the usage of it. It was great for me. But when the summit was going on, I decided I was going to commit the time to really just dial in. So I probably put about 20 hours in during the summit just to really study, because I wanted to see structurally so that I can say, let me see what I need to be doing for my clients. And after going through that summit, I then committed to being certified, not because I'm a tools guy, but because as a trusted advisor who provides strategy and clarity and accountability, I thought it was imperative for me to bring that executive perspective to my clients, to still keep the main thing the main thing. You see, I'm a guy that started out in the entrepreneurial space as a personal trainer. My first business was as a personal trainer. And then from there, I started teaching people how to apply the habits of physical fitness to their life. I then did my MBA at George Washington, started teaching how to apply the habits of physical fitness to business, and then financial planning at Georgetown. Same process. And that process is the goal. So I want you to make note of what your actual goal is today. After the goal, we got to do the assessment. We got to actually assess what the current state is. And then from there, we got to then have a plan. And the great thing is, you use AI and you can get these magnificent plans. But what's the thing that's needed? It's the execution. It's the accountability. It's that component. And so I'm giving you all these things because what I discovered once I decided to become an AI certified AI consultant was that I got started on orientation October 24th. October 20th, I went through orientation. I certified on November 24th. And as like Kevin, I really kind of got a grasp of things early on. And then I started, providing some insights to my peers. But what I did to start out with, because I saw a gap, was that I then did a beta test. And that beta test was me offering up access via what I called a 90-day wealth accelerator to give people the opportunity to get the benefit of my coaching. And instead of taking my fee, I simply provided the consultation with everyone that got my book, and then the application side, which eventually became the household economic system, which is what I'm talking about, that I'll talk about tonight. But the whole point is that I launched my business. And this is the thing I want you guys to do, because this is what I did when I worked with them people. In fact, I don't know if Marcus is still on here, but one of the persons that I worked with was on here earlier. He was one of the persons that went through my beta. And in that beta section was allowing me to say, if you guys are trying to grow a business, one of the things that you may not understand is, well, how do you actually go out and get clients? You got all this information, but that's not business. It's just like you learning it's like you go, the process you go through, and this is that it's like you going to school, get the degree, and then you got to now, nobody told you that you got to go look for a job, and you got to now hope that somebody hires you. Well, put that in perspective when you're an entrepreneur. How are you going to get a return on investment? And so that's what I facilitated. I did 90 days of actually working with people to help them to actually make money. See, the direct path to getting to money is, and you make note of this, is to put yourself in line with where money is already flowing. Put yourself in line with where the money is already flowing. You see, everyone is talking about being a consultant. but they're doing so without thinking about what problems are already out there that they already know how to address, or they already know that it is a defined problem that people are actively looking for a solution for, and those people have the money and they have the willingness to let go of that money. Check off. Let me slow that down again. Number one, is the audience clearly defined? Can you find the audience that has the clearly defined problem? Not from your perspective, because we got a bad thing as consultants to think that people need something, and we got to thinking that we think they need it, and then we go gung ho trying to make it give them something that they weren't actually seeking. So first thing, you got to be clear about the audience, and then you got to be clear that the audience actually has a problem that they've self-selected to say, I have this, and you got to be able to find that. And with AI, you can do the research. If you take what I'm saying to you, you now can go apply this. See, I'm filling in the things that allowed me, Kevin, to make these avatars and to see all the things that you see from me. I'm giving you the backstory behind it, because see, I know people are used to coming on here and all they want to do is talk about AI and learn these new tools. But I went into the field so I can help my clients. And the bottom line is that it's got to make sense. The application piece of it. Don't just get caught up in the marketing of all the stuff that people are talking about. That's what people end up doing. So as a financial advisor, I'm walking you through the same type of mindset, is that if you are just going off of ignorance on fire, you're going to be spending a lot of money and you ain't going to make no money because you don't know what you need to be doing right now to get a return on investment. That's why I want to make sure that I leave you tonight with, make sure you got those things, that you don't have another one of these situations where you didn't have someone talking about the money. Because here's the question I want to ask for you, and I want you guys to make note of it. And as I said, I may randomly call on someone, because I want the engagement, because what I'm giving to you is what it is that I do directly with my clients. And I'm giving this access because Kevin invited me. And so my promise to you is this: if you lend me your ear, I'll give you my heart. If you lend me your ear, I'll give you my heart. I'm gonna walk through different things, and I'm gonna have Kevin even prompt me with what he wants me to specifically. But again, you guys can play full out. If you start to drop anything that you want me to address about your situation, because what I'm saying is there's something that brought you to the AI space, and I've learned for many people it's their desire to not be one of the 77 million baby boomers that retire and face a cash flow danger. They don't want to be in the 66 out of 100 people age 65 that earn less than $30,000 retirement. They want to bridge that gap. And so my mission is to bridge the wealth gap for 1 million families. But I want to do it in line with where the money's already flowing. And so I hope that you guys stay long enough to see what value I'm actually going to provide, because I'm going to extend an invitation to you to be able to apply these things that I teach, but not have to wait until you get it before you start making money. I ain't talking about no investment. I ain't selling you no one of my packages, but just know that those things are out there as well. In fact, I got a couple of people on here that are clients, people that have paid for a lot of the stuff I'm talking about right now, because I'm talking about the mind, and I'm talking about it about solutions with real world problems that most of the time people never get exposure to. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it from this vantage point. And then we're going to get into the AI, because I'm going to show you how I apply it. But again, you can get AI from everybody. What you can't get from everybody is what I'm talking to you about. And that's where the gap is at. There's a true wealth gap. And my heart's desire, because you guys are entrepreneurs, is to arm you with a resource and a relationship that can allow you to keep the main thing the main thing. Because I want to make sure that you have a shot at creating the life that you want. So this is a question that I have for you to think about. And I need you to do this math, and then I'll go into showing you some AI stuff or answering questions. So here's my question for you. And you gotta get your answers, and I want you gotta respond to me. The question I have for you is, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? We're going to operate from the vantage point of life expectancy, data. Again, I'm a data guy. I'm a data guy. The data says that the life expectancy of women is 81. That's the data. The life expectancy of women is 81. The life expectancy of men is 76. The life expectancy of men is 76. So if we take off 10 years, that's what we're planning for. We're going to take off the 10s because we want to live out the rest of our life. So if the life expectancy of women is 81, we're talking 71 as your math starts. That's the target. We're talking 71. So you want to be thinking at 71 and beyond, how do you want to look physically? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live? For men, 66. 66 and beyond, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live? So the question is next is, if you visually think about that, you can definitely visually think about what you don't want to look like. So I challenge you. I would guess through my experiences that most of the time when I ask that question, how do you want to look? The thing that I know people are not saying, but I know it represents it, they tell me they don't want to look fat. What does looking fat represent more times than not? The leading cause of death, which is heart disease. The leading cause of death is heart disease. If you're not planning to not look that way, then you run into the risk of not having a quality of life. And it's going to impact your finances. Feel. Most of the time, people tell me they want to feel vibrant. They want to feel energetic. They want to not have worry. They want to feel at peace. So, one of the things that causes a disruption in those later lives is if you are ridden by debt, if you're in a bad relationship, if you've not found answers to how to make your life better, then that impacts how you feel. And then the way you feel can also lead to the stress on the heart, which can leads to, once again, the leading cause of death. And number 3, how do you want to live? Because this is the point that's really critical. What do you want to do at that point? Many people tell me that they want to travel. They say that they want to be able to take care of family needs if they have to. They want to be that one that can be in a position to do things. Some tell me that they want to give it away. Most of the time they tell me they just want to be free. So the question is, and here's where the math comes in, how much money per month do you want to have in order to fund FUND the way you want to look, the way you want to feel, and the way you want to live? Thank you there, Stephanie. 30,000. Okay. All right. How much do you need per month in order to fund FUND? We're talking about so that you want to have this so that you have options. 10,000. All right. Now, once you're clear about that number, whatever the number is, now we got to do the math so you can then see what your options are. If you said 30,000 per month, then we're talking about, and again, we want to compare it to the regular track. 30,000 times 12 is 360,000. So you need 7.2 million. 7.2 million for that 30,000 a month. You want 10,000 a month, you're talking about 120, you're talking about 2.4 million. 2.4 million put away. 25,000 times 12, 300,000 years. So we're talking about 6 million. 15,000, 180,000 per year, 3.6 million. So here's the math behind it. All I'm doing is I'm taking the monthly amount times 12. The monthly amount times 12 gives you your annual amount. And then 5%, divide 5% into that annual amount to see what your nest egg has to be. So that 401k is what I'm just trying to put out there from a standpoint. Is now you like, is your 401k en route to getting there? This is the part that most people never have done, yet they're putting away money on a monthly basis. But they have no shot at getting to what they need in order to have the life they want. So family, how do I know that? Because I financially retired at 32. I did it via real estate. What happened was I had a 90-day window as I was transitioning from the military. I read a couple of books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. I grabbed a couple of concepts from that and applied those principles. And in 90 days, I acquired over $1 million in assets in 90 days, with my largest being a 40-unit apartment complex. And then I started my job. When I made the decision to execute my plan, which was I always wanted to be the dad that was around. So when I had my daughter Nadia in 2004, I ran my numbers and saw that I was in a position to walk away from a phenomenal job. Moved to Jacksonville, Florida to get near Savannah, which is home. And then I went into the financial services as an advisor at UBS because I wanted to see if they were being taught. And here's what I learned. Within a week of being in the business, I realized that my background and experiences didn't matter because it wasn't a job of actually making people money. It was a sales job. I had to have enough people saying I was a great guy. And from that experience, what I also learned was that I was trying to help people, but I couldn't help them by giving them the plan of the company because they didn't have enough money or enough time or couldn't get a great enough return. And so because I was in the business on my own terms, I would talk to people about entrepreneurship as the foundation of any plan because it was otherwise they couldn't create the cash flow. So you guys at least are en route with the skill development. That at least gives you an opportunity to take control. But you got to learn these business things. Because the most profitable skill is communication. You got to make sure you're doing something to learn about how to communicate. The most profitable knowledge is financial. You got to be able to take what you offer and put that in financial terms so that someone can see that the cost of what you offer is far greater than the value you're going to deliver. Let me say that again. You got to be able to show someone that the cost of them to receive what you have to offer them on an hourly basis, on a contract basis, whatever it is far less than the value you're going to deliver. You know, Andrea Scott, on July 8, 2015, leaving LA Fitness, I passed a pink Cadillac. I didn't see the person driving the vehicle, but I saw it as a status symbol. I pulled on the side of the road. I flagged her down. I gave her a copy of this original book. And I said, read this. If you get any value from it, you can pay for it later. When she went left, I went right. She contacted me on July 26th, telling me she'd read it. She shared it with 30 of her directors. They all wanted it. From there, she asked to do a conference call with 200 of her ladies. I said, bring the husbands on. After that, she asked me to do a live event. And then she paid $4,500 to work with me for 90 days as her coach. I asked her one question was, do you want to create a legacy? She said, yes. I got all of her paperwork from her business. Remember, I'm a strategic clarity advisor. And from there, I did my due diligence. I came back to her and said, in spite of your success, which I had much respect for, 20 some odd years with the company, multi seven figure earner, youngest black woman in the world history of Mary Kay Cosmetics to be a national sales director, 17th in the history of the company. I said to her, as a stranger that she met at a stop sign that gave her a book and said, read this. I said, in spite of your success, you want to achieve your goal because you don't own this. However, you're so young when you hit the top of the company. In 4 years, you're going to be able to retire and be fully vested, much like a police officer or a firefighter or a military person, and be able to take that income stream, much like a pension or annuity. And you'll be young enough still yet to go do something and apply those transferable skills to then pursue what you really desire. All of you got transferable skills. If you're engaged in a relationship with me, that's what I would help you with, is let me remind you, you're the asset. See, if you engage with me, I'm going to talk to you about who you already are, what you already bring to the table, so that you don't have this thing like starting from ground zero. You're already bringing stuff to the table. Well, she delayed taking my recommendation by 1 year. 1 year. I want you guys to drop some numbers in the thing. She paid $4,500 to get the advice and the consultation. She delayed taking the recommendation and executing it by 1 year. What do you think it cost her? Remember, originally we had a cost for a value. Let me see some numbers in the chat. She had a cost and a value, but because she didn't execute, like you guys have, and you've invested in your program with AI, right? You put your time in and your money in, and there's going to be a cost. You had to weigh a cost. You had to think that you were going to make X amount more for that cost. But there's a cost for delay. There's a cost for not knowing what you don't know. So what do you think? All right, Masita, 1.5 million. Anyone else? What do you think? What do you think she lost out on? How about 100,000? Okay. Give me another one. Let me see some more. If I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. If I involve you, you'll learn. I forgot to tell you that. Hey, if I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, that's what I'm talking about here. If I involve you, you'll learn. Don't stay here the same. All right. 500,000, 1.5 million, 100,000, $250,000. Hard money. 250. So my family, knowledge is information. Understanding is comprehension. But wisdom is applied knowledge. Knowledge is information. Understanding is comprehension. And wisdom is applied knowledge. And so what's really great about Kev and what he's created with this community is it gives you an opportunity in a safe place to gain understanding so that you don't keep accumulating knowledge. And I'm going to stick it in right there before I roll into the AI stuff. And now I want to just open it up immediately for any questions. So go ahead, Wanda. Talk to me, my dear.
I just want to ask, how did you come up with the $250,000 was her loss?
Guess what? I didn't come up with it. She told me.
Okay.
And the way that she told me was based upon what her retirement would have been. Andrea, are you available? Would you mind even giving let your voice be heard and address that?
Hey, great question. Thank you. I don't know why you tried to have to take me back to that because that was a sting. So, with my retirement, they take the last 5 years and they take the best 3 years out of your last 5 years of income, and then they what do you call it, average it out. And based on the average, what happened was one of my best years fell off. So because I delayed and I didn't retire when I should have, one of my best income years fell off. And so that was kind of how that happened. So I lost some cash. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let me bring this to each and everybody that is generally in the regular workspace or someone that is doing any investing. Let's say you got a real estate portfolio. I got Aisley Jackson on here, and I know Aisley runs the Savannah Real Estate Investment Association. And so I'm gonna relate to you guys that are workers. So that's Andrea, who came from the home-based business space at the high level. We got a real estate investor, and then I'm sure we got some of you guys that are professionals in your career where you got a 401k. It's the same thing when you are not making moves, for example, in the market when you should. What happens oftentimes is people will be doped up on it going up, it going up, it going up. But then when it goes down, they try to sell. Haven't you always heard buy low, sell high? So emotions end up causing people to lose out. That's what the delay was for Andrea. It was her emotions that caused her to stay beyond when she said she was leaving. The plan that was given was based upon what was stated. But because of relationships and because of what she was doing, she found herself staying in that as opposed to following the plan that's laid out. See, we got to execute the plans that we have. You made a decision to participate in the AI program to get your learning and your skills. Who do you have that's holding you accountable to the execution of the plan that you said you were going to do for yourself, even if you didn't say it publicly? So I want you to think about that, but here's what I want to offer up to you. Look at any professional athlete and standing beside him or her as a coach who can watch the athlete perform. Even Tiger Woods, often considered the greatest golfer in the world, has a full-time coach for only one reason. He can't see himself swing. He can't see what needs to be corrected when something goes wrong. Furthermore, he doesn't know what to do to make himself better. His coach is there to watch his form as he swings and to help correct and guide him to his full potential in the fastest amount of time and to help him achieve the excellence he desires. There's no trial and error, no guessing on what to do differently. The coach sees the problem and corrects it. I want you to think about that last statement and think about who in your life is watching you swing. Who's your coach or your mentor? More importantly, is a person qualified to guide you where you want to go? Has a person been there and done that? My experience is that most people don't have someone to guide them and who will tell them the truth. The reason is because telling the truth can be risky. People tend to get their feelings hurt. Everyone is busy protecting the relationship, and the reality is this: the relationship is often superficial or fake to begin with. My mask being in relationship with your mask. It just doesn't work very well. The problem with this scenario is this: you can't change a lie. You can't change what you aren't aware of or conscious of, and most of us are unaware of what we're doing or thinking that is producing the results in our lives. Well, less than a year of meeting at the stop sign, I will tell you that I ended up marrying Andrea, and on our 3-year anniversary, I surprised her with this new cover. And so before I jump into I'm gonna jump into some of the things that I know Kevin want me to look at and share with you guys. Let me find out if there are any questions, anything specific that I can talk to you about where you're at in this AI space that I might be able to address. And trust me, you know, ask a question that's important to you, and then I'll run into the AI stuff. Any questions? If no question, tell me something that you got so far from what I've shared. Give me something of value. What's something of value that you say, you know what, this made it worth the cost of my time. I've received some value that I can now do something, even if it's making me aware and making prevention be the cure for me. If I tell
See
you,
that cost. I see that cost of delaying execution. Execute the plan because there's a cost to not acting. Once you've planned and you've done everything that it needs to do the thinking, go out and do it because it's worthless without it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. So Kevin, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say that was gonna be kind of my same statement, was the cost, the dollar cost loss that you could potentially have by not executing. I think that's a common conversation I have with a lot of my peers, is that when do you stop, not necessarily stop learning, but when do you stop putting it all in and then start to execute? We have a tendency to go to this class, go to that class, go here, go there, grab as much knowledge as you can, but then the number of people that actually execute on that knowledge is very, very short.
Right. And the thing thank you, Wanda. And what I want you guys to make a note of is you don't need more knowledge. You don't need more in order to move towards your goal. Give me anything that you guys have learned. And as I said, I just take who you already are. And I promise you, I can give you a roadmap. And not only, it's not just having a roadmap. It's about helping you from a been there, done that perspective to get to the outcome. And that's one of the biggest problems I see, is that there's so much information that's given in the space. Well, it's for the benefit of the deliverer, because what the deliverer has an opportunity then to say is that, hey, I gave it to you. I over-delivered. I've given you all this stuff. So that's say, hey, I'm not to blame. If you ain't get, hey, I'm a bum. I'm gonna make sure that I layer this stuff, and you from a paralysis from analysis. You getting bombarded, so you don't even have nobody in your ear to say, stop getting on the next meeting. Why are you on that? What you doing on that meeting? Why are you there? What have you done with that one thing? Go with that one thing and solve one problem. All right. So, anything else? Because I want to, Kev, I'm gonna demonstrate. I'm gonna demonstrate by letting them see, because they probably say, "Well, he doing all this talking. What he doing on the AI side?" Because I wanted. Why is he doing anything that I ain't doing already? What's his story? Because and I know our people be talking, so I don't know if we just here with our people, but I'm saying our people all the time. And this community here is our community. This community is our people. Our people is our. This is. Yeah, that's what's up. So here's that guy. Do you see the screen? Is it live or is it Memorex? Here we go. I want you to pay attention, because now I'm going to talk to you about the household economic system. I'm going to walk you through so that in turn you can see how I leverage AI. Because see, I had to go in stages. It was February where I said, okay, now it's time for me to put things in place to scale. That's what I did. I said, now I got to put things in place, because I've already proven the other stuff. I did that in a 90-day period. Now I want to show you about what it is that I do, and then you could talk to me about, well, how does it look and sound like that? Because I'm thinking, Kevin, is that what you? Tell me what was your reaction? What was the thing you called me to want me to come on, and what made you give you some appreciation for me?
I mean, there's a whole lot of things, first of all. But speaking specifically about the
AI
AI
space,
things,
AI, yeah.
yeah. Your AI avatars are top notch. Definitely. When I watch them, they are super realistic, they're super clean, and they're not the same thing over and over again. It looks like you, it sounds like you, and there's so much variety. So I was able to take a little bit about what you to do in order to add it to my own repertoire of how to make these AI agents look so good. But even still, you have some of the best AI avatars out there.
Awesome. And so one of the things I'll tell you guys is, see, it's not one or the other. So you see, I opened up by you listening to me, so that you can see me. So that in turn, that if I do use AI, it's not because you don't think, because I haven't shown you that I'm a real person. See, one of the problems lies is that people, again, try to make AI replace them. You're the asset. See, the concern that people have is I'm demonstrating that stuff real time, because if you go to my Instagram, for example, you'll see videos of me, but then you'll see videos where I've used AI. Why? Because if I'm saying I'm a certified AI consultant, I also want you to see that I'm using the thing, but I'm not worried about, well, people are going to look at that as AI and they're not going to receive it. Well, I'm layering it. I'm doing enough on my reel so that in turn you can see I actually do speak. All right. And so I'm excited to share this with you because I did this today because also share a system because of the timing. And this also speaks to the money stream that I vetted when I did it with the AI people. But then I also have the opportunity for you guys to participate if you desire to really connect. Here we go. It happened again, twice. Time, US News and World Report. And this comes after Forbes, USA Today. Independent research, different organizations, different methodologies, different measurements, but the evidence keeps pointing in the same direction. Value, trust, people, impact. Now, most people are going to look at these recognitions and talk about a company. I'm looking at something much bigger. I'm looking at the household economy. Because after decades in leadership, finance, business, technology, and wealth education, I've come to a very simple conclusion. Most households don't have an income problem alone. They have a systems problem. And you cannot motivate your way out of a broken system. You cannot budget your way out of every broken system. And you certainly cannot build lasting wealth if nobody has ever taught you to evaluate the inputs and outputs of your own household economy. Think about it. Money comes into your household, then taxes take their portion. Housing takes its portion. Transportation takes its portion. Debt takes its portion. And every single month, your household sends hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars into the marketplace through consumption. The question isn't, do you spend money? You do. The question is, has anybody ever taught you how to manage the economic system behind your spending? That's different. And that's why I created the household economic system. I'm Nate Scott, West Point graduate, combat veteran, former CFO of an Inc. 500 fast growing company, former licensed wealth advisor, entrepreneur, author of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, certified AI consultant. And here's what I need you to understand. Those are credentials. They are not the mission. The mission is to help households and the organizations that serve them move from economic activity to measurable economic empowerment. Because I'm tired of us confusing activity with impact. We held the seminar. Great. We had 200 people in the room. Great. We taught financial literacy. Great. We posted the pictures. We wrote the report. But what changed in the household? Did cash flow improve? Did the tax burden become better understood? Did emergency savings increase? Did the household identify inefficient spending? Did somebody create their first legitimate business activity? Did anybody generate repeat income? Did financial decision making improve? Can we measure the transformation? Because if we cannot measure what changed, we need to be careful about calling it economic empowerment. This is where my work is different. I'm not coming into organizations with another motivational speech. I can speak. I'm not coming in with another financial literacy class. I can teach. And I'm not coming in chasing people with another opportunity. I understand business. I'm coming with a system. Educate, engage, enroll, empower. We evaluate the household. We examine inputs. We examine outputs. We identify inefficiencies. We connect people to appropriate solutions. And then we measure. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Because I believe economic empowerment should produce evidence. And this is why independent validation matters to me. When Forbes research points to value, when consumer research points to trust, When workplace research examines people and independent organizations recognize impact, I don't see 4 awards. I see a pattern: value, trust, people, impact. And I believe the same architecture applies to a household. A household needs to understand value. A family needs relationships and systems it can trust. We must put people back at the center of economic strategy, and then we must measure the impact. That's the household economic system. Now, I want to speak directly to organizational leaders. If you lead a church, a chamber, a real estate association, a union, a veterans organization, an employer, a nonprofit, or an economic development initiative, I want to ask you one question. You already have the trust of your people, but can you document how their household economics are changing because of their relationship with your organization? That's not criticism. That's the opportunity. You may already have the people. You may already have the credibility. You may already have the mission. What you may be missing is the measurement system. That's where I come in. I'm not trying to replace what you're doing. I want to help you measure what you're doing. I want to help you identify the economic leaks that are happening inside the households you already serve. I want to help you build a 90-day pilot, establish the baseline, implement the system, measure the outcomes, and document the transformation. Because imagine what happens when a pastor can say, here's how household cash flow changed in our congregation. Imagine a union leader saying, here's how our members strengthened their household economic position. Imagine a real estate association saying, we didn't just help people buy property, we helped households become economically stronger. Imagine a chamber saying, we can show you the measurable economic impact happening at the household level. Now we're not talking about another event. We're talking about infrastructure. For most of my life, I've been trained to study systems. At West Point, I learned leadership. In the military, I learned execution. As a CFO, I learned that numbers tell a story. In wealth management, I learned how capital moves. As an entrepreneur, I learned cash flow. And in AI, I understand what becomes possible when we can analyze information, identify patterns, and improve decision-making faster. For years, people looked at my background and thought, Nate does a lot of things. No, I've been studying one thing my entire adult life: systems. Systems of leadership, systems of money, systems of behavior, systems of business, systems of technology. And now I am applying everything I've learned to the most overlooked economic institution in America, the household. That's my lane. That's my work. And that's why I believe Life is Rich Global is uniquely positioned for this moment. I don't need everybody. I'm looking for leaders who understand that good intentions are no longer enough. Leaders who want evidence. Leaders who want measurable outcomes. Leaders who are willing to ask better questions. And leaders who understand that if we want to change communities, we have to strengthen the economic systems operating inside the homes within those communities. Household by household, family by family, system by system. My name is Nate Scott, and I study the household economy. I build systems that help people make better economic decisions, and I partner with organizations that are serious about creating measurable transformation. If that's the work you're trying to do, we should talk, because the next era of economic empowerment will not be built on more information. It will be built on better systems, and we're building them now. Again, Nate Scott. For more information, text HES at 904-544-7424. Remember, life is rich. Okay. Questions? Kevin, you can frame it. let's talk AI. What we got? What we got? First hour is already out. So let me see. How do I make this? So what I did is first my picture. I could recommend that you really just work to tighten your picture up. I think I locked this one in with Gemini. Okay. So I really worked to make sure that I got the right photos. And then once I got it, then I could change it up. Then I can then take that and then change it to different outfits. The next thing I do is
A lot of times when I see your avatar, it always has a different outfit. You made the picture through Gemini and then you changed it in while it was still a picture.
I changed them all in Gemini, and then
Okay.
to the point, and then I evolved because I've evolved. See, I started in February. February is when I said, okay, now it's time for me to start to scale. So I spent February learning the avatar side,
Mhm.
and then March is when I said I would then um, test it so that I can in turn see if it was effective or not. See, here's the thing. I do things in that order. I do it and then I do my research. I then do it and then I test it because it got to be effective. So I'm looking at return on investment because if I'm doing this and I'm working with someone else and I propose this and I give them this recommendation after they'd already paid me X amount of dollars, I got to know that if they follow my recommendation that they're going to come out better on the other side. And here's how that plays out for me. It allows me to work with people even if they don't have the money. Because what I'm looking at, I'm like, if I can see that the only thing that's between me and my money is your lack of understanding or your knowledge, then I can bring my knowledge so we can both get paid. I don't need the transaction. If I see you got something going on, so Kev, so real talk. For example, Kev, means I ain't charge you for what it is that I do, and where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna work with you because I see your talent and I see what you can do. Because here's what I'm looking at, is I'm like, I know that I can help you to get to your goals. I just got to see whether or not you want to engage, but the engagement is impressed by me. So that's how I approach everyone, is that I first see if I see whether or not if I was a part of who they are and what they've got going on, can I help them to get to the other side? So the lesson is you want to make sure that you are testing stuff for return on investment, effectiveness, and don't rush beyond that. The first tools that I used were ChatGPT and Sora. Why? Because again, I'm talking about the bottom line. I need to make sure that when it comes down to the things that can allow me to go get the money, it means I got to have the tools that is going to allow me to be out there, not just grabbing information. So those are the two things that I was using. And then I brought Gemini into it because I saw that Gemini, from a photo standpoint, was better. It allowed me to create some real good stuff. And then from there, um, I went into some other things. I don't even remember them now. I had to because I haven't used them in so long. Because all I've been doing now is this stuff where I'm on Chat GPT. So now the next thing is first thing is first you got to get your image right, and then I use Hagen because Sora went out. So I was forced to go in Hagen because of Sora. So that's how that transition happened for there. And then in Hagen, then it's all about what's my messaging. So the work has to be done where you got to know who you are and what you're about so that you can then populate chat so that it can communicate who you are, what you do, and how your language is. So in chat, I've got my book. But what I excel at is I've got all of these videos. I got all of these things that I document me just being myself. Like today, I told Kev, I said, hey, man, make sure, because my family is not here, I need to make sure I get this recorded because, Kev, as soon as I get it, I'm going to then drop it. I'm going to then take the transcripts and then I'm going to drop it into my chat. And then what I'll do is from there is I'll then do a high converting YouTube title and description. And then from there, it's going to give me an opportunity to then do the graphic. But see, I mean, if you guys make the decision to lock arms with it, I'll give you these things because like I said, the ideal situation is going to get you guys that are AI people to start to making money using AI, and you are ahead of the game because you already are in the AI space. The people I'm working with, most of them are not. So here's an example. So you see my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel, for example, how this comes about, you can see it, right? You can see my schedule, my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So what I just now said to you. So what I did was I take my particular topic. In this particular case, this was based upon a Forbes magazine report that just came out. Actually, no, this one came out in March where it was talking about Costco, and I grabbed it from LinkedIn. So from LinkedIn, I saw something on Costco about their quarterly earnings being $62 billion. So I took that article, I dropped it into my chat, which I have my own authority voice. So I can pull up my chat. Let me see if it switches over for me. If it switches not, did it switch?
Yep, we're looking at your chat.
Okay, so my chat over here on the left-hand side, you see Nate Scott Authority, the authority engine. So then I'll drop something in here that says, turn every response into a return on investment in Nate Scott's voice with clarity, conviction, cash flow logic. This is my engine. Use it to generate authoritative, principle-driven replies for social media or client communication. And I'll drop something in so that in turn, it allows me then to interpret it in the way that I would do it. So I'm repackaging real content. Boom, leveraging AI because I don't have to go read through the whole thing because I've done the work up front. Make sense? And then from there, when I go over to putting the stuff together, boom, video, boom. After I do and then I put in a prompt that simply says, create a high converting YouTube title and description. And then it gives me that. And then I take that and then I do me an authority video script. And from the video script, then that's where it leads over to here. And then I also do high converting YouTube thumbnail. And then that's how you see this graphic here. And then you see my own logo and all my stuff. And then, boom. Costco just validated one of the most important economic principles most people never study. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Hi, my name is Nate Scott, author of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. I'm a former CFO of an Inc. 500 fast-growing company and former wealth advisor at UBS Financial Services, as well as a former tax franchise owner and a certified AI consultant. You see, Costco recently reported more than $62 billion in quarterly revenue. Most people hear that and think, Costco sells a lot of products. That is true, but it is not the insight. Costco did not build a global economic engine because of products. Costco built an economic engine because it captured household spending. Every household must consume toothpaste, laundry detergent, cleaning products, nutrition, personal care. These are not luxury purchases. They are recurring consumption. That means the opportunity is not hidden in the product. The opportunity is hidden in the behavior. You see, finances are 80% behavior, 20% know-how. People use it. They run out. They buy it again, month after month, year after year. That is retention economics. And retention economics create durable cash flow. Now, here's the authority insight. Costco built a centralized household economic system: warehouses, distribution centers, logistics, membership, household trusts. But the real asset is not the building. It is not the inventory. It is the relationship with the household. Once Costco earns that relationship, the household returns. That is the engine. The Life is Rich household economic system applies the same economic principle in a decentralized way. Not through warehouses, through people. Not through storefronts, through trusted household relationships. The company manufactures, the company fulfills, the household consumes, the household reorders, and the economics have the opportunity to compound through retention. I studied a 25-year case example of this model. A few hundred households introduced over time expanded into tens of thousands of customers across a broader network. Not through hype, not through speculation, through consistent reorder behavior. Small inputs, long runway, compounding economics. Here's the question every serious entrepreneur should be asking. Not, will people spend money? They will. The question is, who owns the relationship with the household? Because whoever earns and retains that relationship influences the flow of spending. And whoever understands how to consistently serve that flow of spending begins to understand the architecture of an economic engine. Costco proves the principle. The Life is Rich household economic system applies the architecture. Essential consumption never stops. The only question is whether you understand how to intelligently position yourself inside that flow. That is not hype. That is economic architecture. And once you understand the architecture, you begin to see opportunity everywhere. So here's my invitation to you. Do not join anything because of emotion. Do not make a financial decision because of somebody gave you a compelling presentation. Study the architecture. Look at the economics. Understand the role of household consumption, retention, and time. Then make an intelligent decision for yourself. If you want to see how the Life is Rich household economic system works, I've created a guide that walks you through the economic principle, the 25-year case example, and the architecture behind the model. Study the guide, run the numbers, and ask yourself one question. What would happen if I stopped being only a consumer in the household economy and learned how to participate in the economic flow? Understand the architecture, then decide. Life is Rich, the household economic system. Study the architecture, understand the economics, make your own decision. Okay. So how's that? Yeah. Okay. So again, the whole idea is to use the tool to allow you to be consistent, to allow you to be accurate, to allow you to be thorough. See, I just said those words because I was thinking in my mind about each tool. That's what I just now did. I just was thinking in my mind just now about the tools and what those tools are used for. See, when I work with clients, I'm talking about begin with the end in mind. You know, when I talked about how do you want to look, feel, and live the last 10 years of your life, inevitably, the processes that I'm walking through is always the same. That's what I'm picking up. That's studying our systems, inputs and outputs. That's all I'm talking about. And I excel at teaching people how to think versus what to think. So I'm open to any questions because I'm actually at my best when I get real questions because I don't know what's important to you at this season of your life. But hey, here, let me go ahead and ask that question though. I need to know, in this season of your life, what's your focus? Is it health or finances? In this season of your life, what's most important to you? Is it your health or your finances? See, I asked that question because that's the heart of my entry into my relationships. Because my goal is to bridge the wealth gap for 1 million families while helping to reduce the risk of heart disease, reduce the risk of cancer, and reduce the risk of overtaxation. I don't know which one of those resonates most with you, but I want to help you to optimize your household. Why do I say that? Because what I found is that people are engaged in these relationships and they're talking about doing stuff together, but there's no commonality for them to actually make money together. So what I've said is I can help people to work together because every household is a system, it's just not treated as such. You got money that comes in, then you got taxes that go out, then you got fixed expenses that go out, then you got variable expenses. So what if you are able to save money, save time, get better quality products, not have any type of investment, no overhead, and start to get a handle on your current situation? Because see, it ain't about what you make, it's about what you keep. Inputs, outputs. If you want to look a certain way in the future, it's your inputs today to get you there. If you want to feel a certain way in the future, it's your inputs here to give you that. The seeds you plant today are for the harvest you want in the future. The seeds you plant today are for the harvest you want in the future. And so one thing that I do to help you to look, feel, and live is that I leverage AI because I built out another tool within the AI space. Because again, I'm an AI guy, right? So let me show you what I did. I created this Life is Rich Wellness Intelligence GPT. And does anybody here dealing with any type of health issue or anything challenge or even a fitness goal or anything like that? Does anyone have anything health related? You do, Kevin? Come off of mute for me. Let me
Oh
see if
yeah.
the mic picks up. Talk.
Yep. I'm here. I'm here.
Tell me the story. Tell us the story. Tell us what's up health wise.
Health wise, I just need to, get healthier, right? So, especially with all the AI stuff, like I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, but being an AI consultant, working with AI 24/7, I have found myself being stuck at a computer more time sitting down, and I have noticed where I'm not nearly as healthy as I should be because I've been for the past couple months focused, hyper focused on computer, but it's time to start moving. It's time to start focusing on that health thing, which I know is something that is, one of the reasons again why what attracted me towards you because you're huge in that space. So for me, for sure, one thing I need to lose at least 50 pounds by the end of the year is my goal. Um, and I need to start moving more. And I need to make sure I'm taking care of not just the outside, but the my taking the right vitamins and things like that as well. So taking care of my health for sure.
Okay. And Kevin, how old are you?
33.
33. And what's your family situation or your status? Marital status, children, anything?
Married, children, yep.
Okay, great. So based on what Kevin has shared with us, let's give him a real breakdown of what he's experiencing and provide a plan and also provide a recommendation of products with an explanation of why. Okay, so I built this custom GPT for the purposes of my personal framework, the Life is Rich framework, and then also a catalog that allows for that ties into this multi-billion-dollar company that I just now spoke about. A company that was just now listed by Forbes, USA Today, Time Magazine as one of the most valuable brands. All right. And so you see right here that you got a write-up. And I think because some of the stuff might have got cut off, let me just say, give me a specific product recommendation. Boom. Also, give a specific product recommendation based upon what Kevin has shared. And actually does say something. Okay. And so off the grip, it just creates an opportunity in leveraging AI to be a person of value. And so the note I want you guys to make a note of is this: money follows value. Money follows value. So as you're going through this journey, be mindful of what is actually happening so that you can identify problems to solve. Because money follows value. Don't have your head down more looking at studying and learning skills. Be the person that finds problems to solve. You know why? You don't have to be the one doing it. See, now, hey, here's the goal. You're in an environment of all these people that ain't getting what I'm giving you right now. They all learning how to be a worker bee. Another employee. The come up is start thinking like an executive. Find problems to solve. And then bring the solutions. You ain't got to be the one to do it. Get to your money. Get your life changed. Learn the skills that you got to do the stuff that you need to do, but learn more about the usage of the stuff. Does that make sense? And I would go into depth with that. For those of you that are getting value, if you made a decision to participate in a 90-day pilot, as I spoke about, I would do something special for you, Kev, for your group, for this whole deal. Is that I would do a 90-day pilot for a cohort of people who in turn commit to learning how to apply what they've got. Applied AI. That's the term that I use. Applied AI. And because I'm at my best when I'm actually dealing with real stuff. I do a daily coaching call, 1:30, and I got some people on here that can speak to that and answer any questions. But at the end of the day, I can talk about AI and go into it, but I'm not a lecturer. What I am is I'm a practical applications. And how I sell my AI is by just letting people see what I'm just minding my business. I'm minding my business versus being information marketing. So what happens is you got a lot of information marketers. That's what they're doing. They're selling information, but they ain't doing that work. See, so I'm doing my work. And oh, by the way, if somebody wants my brain, then I get paid for that stuff too. But I ain't waiting for somebody else when I'm minding my business. And in this season here, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to help as many people as I can this year make $10,000, starting with this month to make $1,000. Here's how. If you guys get value from Kevin and his group and the stuff that he's doing here, would you be willing to invite people, for example, for tonight, based on what you experienced tonight, because he put it forth? Was this of value to you? And would it be something that you would have, now that you've experienced it, would have said, you know what, I would have invited someone to this? If the answer to that is yes, then that means you appreciate it. It's like you going back to a restaurant. That's the mindset I want you to think about. So let's say that this was Kevin's restaurant. Did you get a good meal? Did you like the experience? If you did, then would you tell someone about it? If so, then if you decide to be a part of helping to grow this base, then you can get paid. And what you can do is I can walk you through the household economic system and how you can participate, talking about less than no investment, no overhead, but it's going to require you to activate the system. Then what will happen is if you refer 8 people to for all the events you guys next week, as he's doing what he's doing, we're trying to get 8 people this month that say, I want to be a part of that community. 10 people to say yes, because they want to be a part of learning AI like this. They want to learn the financial stuff that I bring to the table, all the practical business stuff. And if so, you'll make $1,000. How many of you have yet to make $1,000? That's really one of the metrics. Remember I told you, in the video I say, Kevin, you got the people, but let me ask you, how are their house, say no criticism, but how has their household been impacted? What if this was a community where you could say that as a result of the people being in your community, we look up a year from now and collectively they've made $1 million? How about $100,000? 20 people here, 5,000 a piece, $500 a piece. That gives us 10,000, right? Am I right? Get my math right. Yeah, 10,000. So make that $5,000. 20 people here help 20 people make $5,000. Well, I said 10,000. So we've got 20 people make $10,000. So we're talking about $200,000. Is that something you can feel good about compared to not knowing and knowing that people, paying a fee and then nobody get no return? Nothing but gathering information. I think that should be the barometer. So what I do is I help leaders, organizations, and households to build self-funded economic systems while leveraging AI leadership, wellness, and financial strategies. And I'm excited about a thought because I hadn't thought about that. But Kev, that's what I put out. That's what I will put out here is that if it's something that you want to incorporate, if you want to do something together where you really dial into the AI stuff and we put some things in place so that we can put people in a system where they can learn while they earn. They can actually make money, but we put the base system in place. But then I can engage with them and we can see what everyone's bringing to the table. And I won't always be at a dollar amount like this because the first step is, eventually to come to a client needs assessment and all my regular stuff. But I'm just saying, if just from a documentation standpoint, we can just document it, I'm willing to commit. So anyway, I'm gonna shut my mouth. We're at 7:30. What questions do you have, or what do you have for me, Kev? And I would love, before we get out of here, I would ask everyone, please consider just coming off of mute and just tell me what you get of value. Because again, that's the only way you can give back. That's how you give back to me, is that I just need to know what lands, because sometimes I feel like I'm just rambling. So there we have it.
Nah, I think hope everybody can see why I wanted Nate to be on here, because absolutely fantastic with what he's doing, how he speaks. It's great, guys. I like teaching AI part, but there's so much more. That's only the first level, right? When you have somebody of his caliber here and you're able to see and go into even more detail about what's the next step, right? How can you grow on what we've been learning? How can you earn from what we've been learning? What's your mentality, right? A big, I think, part of what hopefully somebody out of here got that is a mentality switch of how you utilize what we're doing here today. So I think that was excellent. And of course, it would be my honor if we could work together and to get 20 people or 22 people on here to make $5,000 just to go right there. So that would definitely be my goal. But I'm willing to help out everybody here who wants to have that opportunity to work with us in order to get to those goals. So absolutely, absolutely. Any questions that anyone want to ask Nate here? Again, normally a session like this, Nate, how much do you typically charge for a session like this?
I don't do it like this, but I told you
It
the
sounds like
story.
you're wrapping up a great present.
But as I said before, and Andrea's on here, you know, Andrea got the book, and unbeknownst to me, she went and taught from the book 30 of her leaders. And as a result of that and their response, she had to reach out to me. And Andrea, you're still there, right? So fill in the rest of the gap. But inevitably, she ended up paying $4,500 for 90 days. Go ahead, Andrea.
Yes. Thanks, Nate. So when I read the book, and I mean probably about 10 pages, the preface and the all of that stuff, and just I guess chapter one and maybe chapter two, a little bit of chapter two, I knew that he had a brilliant mind. And the financial principles and all the things that he was sharing, I'm assuming everybody we on here has a ton of books. And I have a whole bunch of them on financial stuff and, personal development, but it was something about the way that he uh, put his experiences in there and shared some real world kind of applicable things that I knew that even as someone who was teaching women primarily how to earn income in the direct sales space, that I was missing a part of a piece of it that I couldn't take them any further than what my level of expertise was. And so I took the book to train at my business meeting at our conference at our convention in Dallas, and those they were throwing checks and cash and credit cards, and they wanted to know, can he do a conference call? Can he speak at our fall retreat? And, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. And so that's what happened. I was able to, someone told me that his phone number was in the back of his book. And I was like, well, where they do that at? Because that was weird. I said, really? Like, I totally missed it. But one of my very detailed people, they found it. And so I texted him right there from the boardroom, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Scott, this is the lady in the pink Cadillac that you met outside the gym. I've got these women here. Can you do a conference call? Blah, blah, blah." And so when I came back to Jacksonville, we met and we solidified everything. And he did do the conference call. I did bring him into my training center to do a workshop, and then I made the decision to rent his brain for $4,500 over the course of 3 months.
All right. And then you got Andre West. Are you able to get off of mute and share what your price was and how you got to that point first? What were your steps? What happened?
Well, first, I did see you at an event where you spoke, and I picked up your book, and so I bought the book, and then I got the assessment that you did. It was $1,500, and we had two sessions, 45 minutes, and we did the evaluation and diagnosed where I am and where I could be with your brain matched with whatever I was bringing, what you could see inside of me much better. And that's how we began our relationship. And you helped me to understand that in my business, I'm sharing what I do financially with people. I'm a financial advisor, wealth manager, retirement planner. Yet I also run marathons. I'm also love fitness because those two things really do go together. And you ask me, well, what do you do on the fitness side? What do you do when people ask you or give you a compliment on your running marathons at age 58? And basically, all I said was thank you, but I didn't leave them in any better shape physically. I didn't leave them with a changed way of thinking about their health. And so they would stay the same. And I had been doing on that journey for 20 plus years and never shared what I was doing, my regimen. So when you helped me to understand based on that evaluation and what we were doing, you helped me to see that I could have an impact on a person's health as well as their finances.
Awesome. And what about AI? So how have I introduced you to AI, and what are you doing within the AI space?
Within the
How
AI,
how have you how has life changed as a result of working with me when it comes to your embracing AI?
well, in addition to that chat that you shared, the wellness intelligence, we also use one that's called the prospecting AI, where it's built out to say, hey, I'm working with this particular person, or I want to make a phone call to this person, or I've known this person for X amount of years. How do I start the conversation? This is what they do, how they operate. This is how many kids they have. This is what's of concern to them. How do I start the conversation? And then you get in there and make a recommendation. Wow, here's one for someone right now on the screen. That has changed everything. It's given me the confidence to make the phone call. That's usually that 2,000 pound phone is the thing that keeps me between me and my success, me and my money. So this helps to lighten that load.
All right. And then lastly, Aisley, are you available just to say hello? I know you might be in a meeting or something, but if he's not, Aisley runs the Savannah Real Estate Investment Association. And that's important because it's another example of something similar to what is here with this community, is that Aisley is growing his community of real estate investors, and I'm working with him to be able to provide something of value so that they can mobilize the entire community like you guys. And so if you all together decide that you want to or if Kevin wants to grow this community, well, compensation drives behavior. There's no compensation associated with you growing his community. So therefore, you probably don't even think about it. But what if you are able to simply invite people out to this? They get this particular value. You learn what you're learning, but you also get an opportunity to get paid if someone decides to participate. That's really what is on the table. I'm not talking about an affiliate program, but I'm talking about something that's similar. But what's the limitations with the affiliate program? Well, oftentimes it's high ticket. Oftentimes it's something that you're getting people in from that vantage point. But what if you're actually doing something that's immediately impacting your life and there's no investment, but you're actually making some changes? So that's the whole idea, is being able to put you in a position where you can start to fill the gap of the things that you need most. And so I'll stop talking and see if there's any questions from the field. And then Kevin, I'm at your, I'm here for you.
Any questions, guys? Great opportunity. Thought there's somebody who does it and has helped others to do it as well, right? And then
I don't
what I'm
have a
gonna go ahead,
sorry,
please.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say great feedback, great information that was provided. Definitely love the communication and conversation about the economics of the household and making impacts there. So everything you shared has been very, very good to the soul.
Thank you. Where are you located, Wanda?
I'm in Charlotte.
Cool. And what do you do professionally?
Professionally, I do AI consulting as well as I own a travel agency.
Okay. And how are you leveraging AI?
Currently meeting, kind of like Kevin, building a community at this particular point, building applications of sale as well, from the builds that I've done with different vibe codings, etc. So those are the main points at this particular point.
Okay. And your travel agency, is it a standalone travel agency, or is one through distributorship of some sort?
No, it's standalone. It's standalone. Mm-hmm. Yep, I've had that particular side of my business has been in place for about 12 years, so we've done fairly well.
Awesome. You're the walking billboard. You're the brand.
Yep.
Right?
Agreed.
And
I'm the
so,
asset. That's
so I posted today in the AI consulting group about what I just now said. I posted in the AI consulting group about you're the brand. And I showed a video clip where I used Opus to cut it. And I spoke about getting on the plane in Oklahoma to fly back. And then when I got on the plane, the airline stewardess complimented me on my skin. I said, thank you. What's your number? Got her number, got back to my station, followed up with her. And then in turn, gave her a recommendation based upon where it is, what I do for my skin regimen. That business activity. See, the IRS requires 3 things. Number 1, have an intent to earn a profit. Number 2, do something on a consistent and ongoing basis. Number 3, track your income, your expenses, and your activity. Where do you ever go where your face isn't there?
very true.
Everybody's in the consulting space. Hint, hint, clue, clue. On that one thing right there, you should engage with me, because you're the walking billboard, you're the brand. So what are you doing to actually make sure you look good? Deion Sanders said, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. And when you play good, you get paid good.
It's true.
That's money right there on the table, right there, just for the standpoint of being the face of your brand. So that's a clue right there. it's like I said, but those are the little insights that you get from me. That's different, because I'm a practitioner. All right, so thank you for that, and we love True Travel. Anyone else? Please, what'd you get of value? Shantae, is that you? Dr. Juliet, is that you? Any of y'all, come and let me hear some voices. I just want to document what you get of value from the night. Please let me
I
know.
got so much value, so much value. Hey, brother Nate, how you doing?
Hey, girl, what's going on? We ain't connected yet.
I know, and we need to. I don't know what you waiting on.
You be tripping.
Yes, how y'all doing? I love tonight. I love everything. I want you to come and talk to my school community, okay? Put me on the calendar.
Put me on the calendar. I want my time, so I'd love to hear about your school community.
Yes, it's amazing. But the value for me was connecting with the person that architects the finances of the household. That was big for me. And also realizing the repetition, the revenue is in the repetition. Do the one thing and keep doing the one thing. Do the one thing that works and do the one thing and do it over and over and over and over. So yes, that's what kind of drove me to do the summit, because I'm doing my very own first summit. Pim pim pim, and Kev is on there and Terrence is on there. So make sure y'all are sharing the summit, and it's a travel summit, Wanda. So make sure you're there too, because it's for people in travel and people who love travel. People, yep, that's us. There we go. That's our summit. Oh my God. So excited.
So
But
Danielle,
yeah,
I've got
so
now. Look, you called me out, so I got to come back.
come
Why
on.
am I not on this summit too? You said Kevin's on here. Why am I
I
not on this
didn't
summit
know.
too?
I didn't know. I just picked my travel people I knew and my AI cousins that I interact with. I know now. When you first said, I said, "Oh, hey, travel cousin, why I didn't know about you, girl? What you been doing,
Too busy not
Hattie?
to travel, baby. Too busy not to travel. That's who I am.
Too busy not to be traveling. I know that's right. You see my little tan. I just got back out the sun. I'm going back soon. Yes, that is the goal, to set up all this stuff so I can do it from the beach and see y'all at the bank. That's the goal, the beach and the bank. Yes,
Well,
but
I
I'm
got
so
my start in
excited.
travel. So
Huh?
I got my start in travel in '07 when I was in Vegas on travel, met 2 young
Mm-hmm.
ladies at the gas station called the Twins, and
Mm-hmm.
they were with a company called World Ventures. And we met,
Yes.
and I said to them, I'm not interested in a business, but how much is it?
Yes.
I bought the entire package, knowing, because I traveled, and
Mm-hmm.
I would tell someone, but I told them, if I want to do anything, I'll call you.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's about my backstory when it comes to business and building, and so very cool. I'm excited to learn more, and I
Yes.
don't see any finance people, so just know we might need to still bring me in for a specialty just so I can come wrap things up for you.
Oh, you can definitely come at the end of the 18th and have a segment. I'm definitely having special segment guests to pull up. So definitely put yourself down.
Good deal. Thank you so
Yes, I
much. I
need
appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate hearing from you, and yeah, we definitely connect because I want to help every one of you guys to have a community of any sort.
yes, I'm so
I want
excited.
I want all of you to adopt what I just now said and really let that mull over. Is that every customer you have has a household,
Mm-hmm.
and what you want to do is get beyond your product, control the relationship,
Yes.
and go deeper versus going wide.
Mm-hmm.
Be a person of value because most of the people you come into contact with will not be the buyer of your offer. Think about what I just said.
Yep.
Most of the
They're
people you
gonna
come
go
into
tell
contact
somebody
with,
that's gonna buy.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, family, if you can take this thought that I'm giving you, we can do something incredible, and it's all documented. I'm 10 years in what I'm talking about, so this ain't nothing where I'm talking about experimenting. I've got the case study of 304 households saying yes, and then out of that 304, just 32 deciding to mobilize, and those 32 that mobilize, at a minimum, they referred 8. However, that 32 grew to 22,687 in 95 months,
Mm.
7 years, 11 months, and paid out $34 million.
Wow.
No investment, no
Mm.
overhead, no products, no selling,
That is
same dollars,
insane.
better spent, no nothing, but opportunity to do collective economics. And so, thank you. That's
Wow. Yes, collective economics. And I just want to share one more thing since we're here before we go. It was because of the Black phenomenon that I got my first high ticket clients. Because Terrence, I built him some agents. Orly, this is my framework up here that I put together. It's an AI executive board of agents that work together to run your ecosystem for you as a CEO or founder or what have you. And I built him some agents and he told somebody and they called me up and they was like, I need that. And yeah, it was like my highest ticket, agent sale today. And it came from Terrence. And this is why, I am recycling and putting the money back in the community. And if we continue to work in a circle and a cycle, we'll go up way faster than we will trying to go on the line.
love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
All right. Who else? Anyone else? Anyone else? What did you get of value from the night? Can you give me one thing that you got of value? All right.
Nate, this is Chandra. Good evening, and thank you for hosting this, and thank you, Kevin, for sharing the invitation. I don't think we have any more time left, but this was very good. I am so pleased with just knowing that there are still some of us that are not only just so intelligent, but are still um, passionate about not only bringing us together, but helping others level up. And some of the notes that I've written, I can't even understand them. So I'm definitely going to have to go back. And I was trying to write so fast, but I am just I think, I not only did I love the love story of you and Mrs. Scott, but I just wanting to see us. You see how many people are on here? This thing needs to be, I mean, everybody needs to hear this. And I love the fact that we get so excited about going to church every Sunday and looking good at church every Sunday. And we have people that are paying their tithes that haven't even paid their light bill, that are in these financial crises that I'm a pharmacist and I still consider myself broke. And that's shameful and that's why I got into the program, because I know that one stream of income is not, it's just too close to none, right? So I appreciate you, trying to teach us, or teaching us, the long game and how to approach it, how to shift the mindset, and that's where it starts. I mean, that's, learning how to listen and slow down and look inward, and know where our starting place is, so we can actualize, the finish line. I guess that would be a good way to sum it up. So thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Nate, for everything. I really appreciate that.
I want to say thank you so much for speaking into me
Mm,
and giving that feedback. It really does make a difference,
yes.
because more times than not, people are consuming my information, but I don't know who they are, and they're not giving any type of anything. And so when I
Hmm.
get a chance to be in a situation like this, the reason I'm only asking for what you get of value, because as I said, knowledge is information, understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge. But also, if I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. If I involve you, you'll learn. I
Hmm.
gotta see what sticks with you. I don't need you to have just a lot of stuff. Oh, that was good. Why?
Hmm.
It's like church. What'd you get? And that's the
Hmm.
whole deal. So I really appreciate that. And I want to invite each one of you, text AI to, so I at least know you're from here. I invite you uh, to text AI to 904, and that allowed me to know that you came through Kev. So I encourage you guys to reach out to me if you want to connect. Thank you again, Chandra. Appreciate you. Anyone else? Got about 9 minutes. We're gonna close it out at 8, I think. Anyone else? Any questions? Anything I can give you while I'm here? Real world situations. What you got going on that maybe I can answer for you? Give you some perspective at least. Man. Kimmy, what's going on with you? I don't know you. What's going on? I know Juliet is in a spot she can't talk. I see a Monica. I see a Nasha, a Marcita. Marcita was active. Anyone else? All right, Kevin, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you have like an extra, like maybe half an hour?
I do.
Okay. What I'm about to do real quick for those who are interested, because I know you were talking a lot about your household economic system, right? I want to give some people the opportunity to get even more information about that, your 90 days system, because you have an entire system that is like that's what brings people to the next level. That's going to expose people into what you're doing and help them see the true value of everything you've been talking about today. So I'm going to open up another room real quick for people to jump in. If you can get in there as well. And if they're interested to know more information, I think that'll be a great place. But also, like the number you put in there, that's a great way to text to get some more information as